The air was thick with an unspoken tension, a delicate balance of joy and apprehension, as Westminster Chapel prepared to host one of the most intimate yet intensely scrutinized royal events of the year, the christening of Princess Beatrice's daughter Athena. A day meant for pure celebration, for the anointing of new life into the ancient lineage, was instead tinged with a palpable unease, all because of one expected guest. Princess Beatrice, ever the picture of quiet dignity, had envisioned a day marked by family unity, a serene blessing for her precious Athena. But the shadow of her father, the former Prince Andrew, loomed large. His expected presence, alongside Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, was not just a family matter. It was a societal flashpoint, a reminder of scandals that have rocked the monarchy to its very core. For weeks, whispers had snaked through royal circles. Are they really allowing him? How will it look? The apprehension wasn't just idle gossip. It was a very real concern among those invited, a genuine dread that Andrew's attendance would hijack a moment meant for his granddaughter. This wasn't merely about a disgraced royal attending a private family affair. It was about the optics, the message it sent, and the potential for discomfort among a carefully curated guest list. Royal christenings are, by tradition, deeply personal, yet symbolically significant occasions. They are steeped in history, often held in historic chapels, with close family and godparents gathered. The dress codes are elegant, the atmosphere typically hushed and reverent. For Athena, the anticipation had been building for months. Princess Beatrice and Edoardo Mapelli, a couple who have largely sought to carve out a more private existence, were undoubtedly eager to share this milestone. But the shadow of Andrew's past, his very public fall from grace, threatened to cast a pall over their daughter's special day. Think back to the seismic shockwaves that followed Andrew's car crash interview, his subsequent withdrawal from public life, and the devastating civil lawsuit. His military title stripped, his HRH style largely dormant in practice, he had become a pariah, a figure whose mere appearance could ignite a media firestorm and reignite public anger. For a monarchy still navigating the delicate balance of tradition and modernity, still striving to maintain public trust, Andrew's continued presence, even at family events, remained a contentious issue. Sources close to the family suggested a complex emotional landscape. Beatrice, fiercely loyal to both her parents, found herself in an unenviable position. How do you exclude your own father from your child's most sacred rite of passage? Yet, how do you welcome him knowing the discomfort it brings to others, and the inevitable media scrutiny it invites? It was a dilemma that underscored the unique, often painful, burdens of royal life. The guest list itself was a carefully constructed tapestry of family and close friends. Senior royals, including King Charles and Queen Camilla, were expected, along with other prominent members of the Windsor clan. Their presence, or indeed their reaction to Andrew's, would be keenly observed. Would there be frosty politeness? Or a carefully choreographed show of familial unity for the cameras? The subtle cues, the fleeting glances, the seating arrangements, every detail would be analyzed. Sarah Ferguson, ever the staunch defender of her former husband, would undoubtedly be a steadfast presence by Andrew's side. Their bond, forged over decades and through countless trials, remained unbroken. For Sarah, this was her grandchild's christening, a moment of unadulterated joy. But even she, pragmatic as she is, must have been aware of the tightrope walk involved. She often speaks of Andrew as a good and kind man, a sentiment that, while heartfelt, often clashes sharply with public perception. Her unwavering support, while admirable from a familial perspective, often serves to highlight the deep chasm between the Yorks' view of Andrew and the wider world. Imagine the delicate negotiations that must have occurred behind palace doors. The discussions about logistics, about arrival times, about minimizing any potential for disruption. Was there a separate entrance for Andrew? A designated area away from the main press scrum? These were not just practical considerations. They were strategic maneuvers to protect the sanctity of the event and, by extension, the image of the wider royal family. The palace machine, finely tuned to manage public perception, would have been working overtime. The day itself dawned, crisp and clear, a perfect autumn morning in London. The streets around Westminster Chapel were already buzzing with a modest crowd, a mix of dedicated royal watchers and curious tourists. Security was discreet but omnipresent. Inside, the chapel was adorned with elegant floral arrangements, the scent of lily and white roses filling the air. The hushed reverence was almost palpable, a stark contrast to the storm brewing outside and the quiet anxieties within. As guests began to arrive, impeccably dressed, the anticipation mounted. Car after car swept up to the entrance, disgorging an array of familiar faces. There were the godparents, chosen for their closeness to Beatrice and Edoardo, their faces a mixture of excitement, and perhaps a touch of nervousness. There were friends from their private lives, accustomed to discretion, now navigating the glare of royal scrutiny. And then, the moment arrived. A car, darker than the rest, pulled up. Out stepped Prince Andrew, accompanied by Sarah Ferguson. He wore a dark suit, perhaps a little more subdued than one might expect for a celebratory event. His expression was, as ever, difficult to read, a practiced neutrality that revealed little of the inner turmoil he must surely experience in such public adjacent moments. Sarah, by his side, offered a reassuring smile, a silent testament to their enduring solidarity. As they entered the chapel, a ripple, almost imperceptible, went through the assembled guests. A few polite nods, some averted gazes. It was a masterclass in British restraint, where discomfort is often communicated through silence and subtle body language rather than overt confrontation. The dread wasn't a shouted protest. It was the quiet tightening of a jaw, the brief hesitation in a conversation, the slight shift in focus. The service itself was, thankfully, beautiful and moving. Athena, dressed in a traditional Honiton lace gown, a replica of the one worn by generations of royal babies, was a picture of innocence. Her cries, her tiny hands reaching out, served as a powerful reminder of the true purpose of the day, to celebrate a new life, untainted by the complexities and controversies of the adult world. The dean's words, invoking blessings and protection, resonated deeply, perhaps even more so given the undercurrent of tension. Yet, even during the most sacred moments, the elephant in the room remained. How did King Charles acknowledge his brother? A brief, formal greeting? A shared glance that spoke volumes? The new king, keenly aware of the monarchy's need to project stability and ethical conduct, faced the constant challenge of balancing family loyalty with institutional integrity. His approach to Andrew has been one of quiet but firm distancing from public duties, a strategy designed to protect the crown while not entirely disowning a brother. Prince William, too, would have been acutely aware of Andrew's presence. As the future of the monarchy, William has consistently demonstrated a commitment to modernization and maintaining public trust. The image of the royal family, especially in the wake of recent challenges, is paramount to him. His interactions or lack thereof with his uncle would be carefully noted by any perceptive observer. The post-christening reception, typically a relaxed affair with champagne and canapes, would have been another hurdle. Small talk, polite smiles, the delicate dance of avoiding sensitive topics. Would Andrew linger, attempting to engage with guests, or would he retreat to a quieter corner, perhaps with Sarah as his buffer? The dreaded interactions would unfold in hushed tones, away from the cameras, but the atmosphere would undoubtedly be charged. For Beatrice and Edoardo, the primary focus remained on Athena. They navigated the day with grace, radiating parental pride. Their love for their daughter was the anchor, the unwavering center around which all the swirling complexities of royal life had to orbit. They wanted this day to be about Athena, about her spiritual journey, about the joy of their growing family. And in many ways, despite the external pressures, they succeeded in creating those precious, unforgettable memories. Yet, the questions lingered long after the last guest departed and the chapel doors were closed. What does Andrew's presence at such a significant family event truly signify? Is it a quiet assertion of his continued, albeit diminished, place within the family unit? Or is it simply a testament to Beatrice's unwavering filial devotion, a daughter's refusal to abandon her father, regardless of his past? The episode served as a stark reminder of the enduring challenge facing the modern monarchy, how to navigate the personal tragedies and moral failings of its members while upholding its institutional integrity and public image. Prince Andrew remains a member of the family by birth, a father to 2 princesses, and a grandfather. To completely erase him from their lives, particularly from such personal milestones, would be an emotional impossibility for many. But every appearance, every photograph, every fleeting glimpse, comes at a cost measured in public perception, in renewed media scrutiny, and in the quiet apprehension of those who wish for nothing more than a day of unadulterated joy. The christening of Princess Athena was, in the end, a beautiful ceremony. But it was also a microcosm of the Windsor family's ongoing struggle, a poignant illustration of the delicate balance between duty and devotion, between public expectation and private loyalty. And as the news reports filtered out, focusing inevitably on the controversial guest, it was clear that the shadow, however unwelcome, would continue to follow. The royal family, ever adapting, ever enduring, continues its complex dance with history, scandal, and the ever-present gaze of the world. And in that dance, even the most joyous occasions can become intricate ballets of unspoken tensions and carefully managed appearances.